Why, hello there, my friend. It's good to see you again, and I hope you're doing well. Thought today we'd do something a little grayer. I got my canvas all wet, slick, and ready to go, so let's get out our oil paints, our brushes, and, well, let's do a fun little painting. I think I'm going to begin with... actually, let's start off by getting a little bit of Prussian blue. Yeah, I really like that. Let's get a little bit of Prussian blue. Maybe a little bit of alizarin crimson. Get a little bit more. There we go. Just a little bit. Don't need too much. But I do want this to be a little grayer, so I'm going to use that Prussian blue. I think I'm going to get more of it. That just doesn't seem like enough, does it? No, not really. Seemed like just a minuscule amount. And then, there. And then I'll get some Van Dyke Brown. What the heck? I always do like that Van Dyke Brown. I think I want a lot of Van Dyke Brown for this one, though. I want a lot of it. Because I really, really want that sky to be gray. And I think that'll about do it. So let's get out the brush. And any more mixing that we do, we can just, well, we can just pull out a little bit of color on the brush and put it on that way. And let's see. I want to get about, we'll just start doing crisscross strokes like we always do. I want to get about half the canvas covered. And I don't want all my strokes to be totally even. I just want to go around, have fun with it. Actually, I think I want a little bit more blue on that. A little bit more blue. There. And I want to be much darker at the top. A little bit more alizarin crimson. There. A little bit of alizarin crimson is good. But I still want that to be mostly Prussian blue. I want it to be a good, strong color with just a bit of gray to it. There. Now, look how fast we can do this sky when we paint this way with a large brush like this. A 2-inch brush. I swear to God, it is the best thing in the world, my friend. It is so easy to paint when you have a large brush like that. I cannot emphasize that enough. What do you think? Do you think that this is a bit lively? Oh, I kind of dragged it a little bit there. That's okay, though. Don't worry about it too much. If you make mistakes, don't worry about it. Just keep going. Keep going. It's okay. It is okay to make a mistake now and then. There. I think that's about good. Let's rinse off this brush a little bit. Get all that paint off, and now let's beat it. There. And just wipe it on some paper towel for good measure. Just keeps it nice and clean like that. Let's see, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? I think, well, honestly, I think I'm going to keep that big brush out. I kind of like it so far, and I kind of want to have some fun with a little bit of white. I just want to get a little bit of white on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to swirl with the edge. I'm just going to find a whole bunch of naked spots. I'm just going to let my brush dance. Doesn't matter where. No big deal. Let it dance, let it play. If you need more color, that's alright. Go ahead and get some. This is going to be kind of a rotten looking day. You can probably tell by now. Just one of those days where it doesn't seem like anything's going to go right because the rain's coming all around and it's mucking up all my plans and you know those kinds of days. We all have them. A lot of people like the rain though. A lot of people like the rain. That doesn't stop them at all. I'm getting too fussy with that. You don't want to fuss around with this too much. You want to dance. You want to play. You want to let this color go every which way. You don't want to force it. There. And what I'm going to do, after I've got all those bases inserted, what I'm going to do, I think, well, let's try and get it with the edge here. There. Now let's, with a clean brush, I got one right here. Oops, I dropped it a little bit. That happens. We'll just give it a little fluff, and then blend out the bottom a little bit. No big deal. Very lightly. Okay. And we don't have to rinse that one off. We'll just beat it a little bit. Then we can go over with some more clouds. Right about here. There. Just make something, make it up. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be the most beautiful cloud in existence. It just needs to be a good old cloud. One of your best friends. And we're going to make a whole bunch of them today. There. There we go. I'm just having fun with this. You can get really carried away with clouds if you're not careful. You just cover up your whole sky like that. I'm going to get out my other brush again. The cleaner one. The cleaner one, I say. Just give them another fluff. And you want to go the direction of the way that the cloud is facing. Like this way. If it's facing to the left here, you want to go that way. And then at the top, you want to go up. And then at the right, you want to go to the right a little bit. Then you want to just swirl it around with a couple of hairs at the bottom just to give it that fluffy look. There. And over here, on the left, doesn't look like I got enough going on. So I'll take my paint. Give it a little spruce up. Touch it up a bit. There. You can do whatever. Yeah. That looks all crazy, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Let's give it a fluff. And just, there we go. That's how we do it, my friends. That is how we do it. If you got another way to paint clouds, I say go for it. I'm just gonna do a little bit more down here. I don't feel like it's quite ready yet. A little bit more, and I think we'll be ready to give it a little bit more life. I tell you, clouds are so fun to paint. This is looking like a pretty crazy sky, isn't it? Yeah, it is. This is looking nuts. I love it when it's like that. I love it when things get a little crazy. Yeah. That is so nice. Give it a fluff. Fluff, fluff, fluff. Yeah. And blend it at the bottom, all around. Swirl it. Swirl it this way and that way. Make sure your clouds are very free. Let them go. Let them do pretty much whatever they want. If you got a feeling that a cloud isn't doing what you want it to, go ahead and fix it. It's not a big deal. Oh man, I got myself a leaky paint today, an oily paint. I tell you, oily paints are tough to use when you do this sort of thing, but if you got a highlight color that's a little leaky, it's not a big deal, because remember, this is a highlight color. It's the base colors over here that you paint with, where if they're real leaky, it's going to become a bit of a problem. You do want a little bit of looseness in the highlight colors though, because it makes it much easier to go on. Let's take a look at, what do we want to do here? I think. I'm just going to clean this brush off a little bit, or not brush, but the knife. I'm spacing out. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's take a little bit of, I think I just want to get some straight up Prussian blue this time. Maybe take a little bit of that color we mixed up earlier. No big deal. And And I don't know, maybe, God, I don't know. Take a little bit of Van Dyke brown. What the heck? And there. Mostly Prussian blue, though. Mostly Prussian blue. That's the way we do it. Well, I think I want a little bit more Prussian blue. Sometimes that happens where you think you got everything settled and it just doesn't turn out to be that way. Okay, I'm gonna pull that cut across so I got a nice roll of paint on the edge. And we're gonna go right about, we're gonna go probably about to the middle here. And we're gonna be real creative with the way that we're making hills and stuff here. Because, you know, in Michigan, we don't really have that many mountains. They're very rare. We're more of a hilly place here. Here in this lovely Midwestern glove state that looks like Paul Bunyan's mitten. The mitten. Oh boy. It's a crazy place here, the mitten. You know, we passed some very progressive legislation recently. It was pretty great. I ain't gonna talk about politics too much, so don't get too worried, but I am a pretty liberal guy. Just FYI for everyone out there. So don't be shocked if I say some liberal things here and there. And I don't know. I'm not going to worry too much about this because this is all in the distance. It's really, really far back. And I'm not going to go too far over here either because I'm going to have a whole lot of land blocking this over here. So we'll just... there. Now, I'm going to take, we better wash one of these brushes off, I think. We'll just give it a little something there. Not a big deal. I'm going to put my palette down for this one because I've been working out a lot recently and my shoulder is a little bit tired. There, beat off that brush, clean that off, and now we're just going to give this a good pull. Right over here, just like that, like this, there, and like that, like this, there, this up there, 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 that's nice, there. Not too much, just a suggestion of some things. Don't want to get too crazy with it, but I do want to clean off my brush again. Beat it off, and it is ready to go. Well, let's wipe off the excess. Now it's ready to go. Let me get my palette. All right. Now, what do I think I want to do? Do I want to do anything more with these? I don't know. Why don't we take the palette knife here, clean that off. And let's, ooh boy, where do I think the light is coming from on these? Where do you think? I feel like the light might be coming from this way. Maybe. Actually, let's make the light come from the right. I think I like that better. So let's get a little bit of Prussian blue, a little bit of sap green. Come on, there it goes. There. And a little bit of Van Dyke brown, a little bit of that alizarin crimson. That's cool too. Get all our favorites. Those colors, I think you see more than any others on here. Well, that's okay. Get a little bit of that titanium white. And we don't want things to be too far from Prussian blue, because you know how things get when they're in the distance. They get much bluer, don't they? Yeah, they kind of do. They still have a little bit of green to them and stuff like that, but boy, oh boy. That's good. There. There, that looks nice. Okay. Now, why don't we take a little bit of that color we just made with the 1-inch, and we will just, ooh, I'm going to be brave here. I'm going to go down there. Go down this way too. Let's follow the lay of the land. I think I'm getting a little mixed up here. Really want to follow the lay of the land on this one. Don't want to get too crazy. Too crazy. No, no, no. There. And I might be destroying a few of the middle values that I got going on here. Now what I want to do is take a little bit of Prussian blue and go down the other side. I know I said a little bit, but I'm kind of getting a lot here. And now let's go down the other side, just like so. Let's mix that up, get a little bit in there. You want to kind of mix it up when you're doing things like this. You don't want it to be all one way or the other, especially while you're trying to do trees or the suggestion of forestry like this in the background. You really want to keep it vague though. You don't want to get too defined because, well, get too defined and it kind of takes away from the rest of the picture after you've done it. So I'm going to just try to keep it brief. There. That's not looking too bad. Rinse off the brush. Beat it off. And there. Let's take that color that I mixed up and let's just kind of bunch it up on the palette, and then we can reuse that later if we feel like it. Let me clean off my palette knife. Now let's take the palette knife and carve out a little section for ourselves, because we want, there's going to be a piece of land in front of this suggestion of all these trees in the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape it away, and I know that seems crazy after we just painted all that, but we're going to do it, and it's not going to look much better later. So let's be brave. Put on your big boy pants. Let's go over here. Let's scrape. Oh, I don't think that's enough. Let's go over this way and yeah, all the way there. Yep, that's how we do it. Look how much of that we scraped away. Let's get Let's get this over here too. Yeah, I feel a lot better now. So now we've only got that little bit left, but trust me, painting's going to be a lot better for it now. Now let's take some more Prussian blue, some alizarin crimson, and Van Dyke brown. A little bit more there. Actually, yeah, there we go. That's the stuff. Okay. Now, we're going to tap in a whole bunch of things this way, all the way from over here. And we're going to tap them just there. And this is where things are going to get real crazy. This is where things are going to get very exciting. We don't want to completely cover up all the stuff that we did over there, so be careful when you're painting that. And you do want to follow the lay of the land here. So when you do paint like this, just block in shapes. Don't think too hard about it. Just block it in. Right down this way, all the way over here too. But don't worry too much about what's going to be on the left side there, because that's going to get covered up. And if you get paint that's a little too thin, doesn't look good on top of that, you want it to really contrast, or try to contrast against what's going on in the background there. Sometimes you gotta mix up a little bit more paint to do that, but it's no big deal. Just do it like that. Yep, there it is. That was just a how-to for you. It's not really a big deal because, again, we're going to be covering a lot of that. Probably all the way from here to here, something like that. I don't know. I got the image in my head. I'm not thinking too hard about it. There. Conjure up a few more trees over here. There. Yeah, that's looking nice. Yeah, let's put a big guy right over here. Yeah, there it goes. That's looking pretty good. There. And let's put one more guy right there. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. We don't want to do much more than that. Now, there. Okay, let's take a dry brush and give that a second to settle. Actually, let's wipe it off. Let's wipe it off. I keep forgetting to wipe off this old brush. Sometimes your brushes need a helping hand, and boy, rinsing them off like that is one way of doing it. In fact, you might say it's the main way, but whatever. Let's take a little bit. Ooh, what do I want? I don't know. Take a little bit of that phthalo blue. Yep. Tap that in. Get a lot of sap grain on this one. But make sure it's really bluish. Real bluish. Be careful with that phthalo blue too. That phthalo blue. Ooh, what a strong color. In fact, you may need to get some alizarin crimson and dull that down a bit. Okay. And then take a little bit of, just a little bit of that white. Don't get too much though. You don't want it to get too crazy. We still want this to be a more modest painting, I guess. Let's get a little bit of that. Yeah, just a little bit of yellow ochre in there. A little bit of yellow ochre. Yellow ochre is a good color to highlight things with if you don't want it to get too bright. And I feel like, I think this is going to be one of those times where we want it to be very bluish, very dull, because we still got the foreground to do things with, and also we got this dull, murky day. We don't want things to get too bright, do we? No, no, no. You don't want that. No, you don't. So let's take a little bit of that and some more sap green. Okay. And let's start over here. Just very lightly. Tap. Tap, tap. And look how green that is. There. And we want to come over here. Tap that. There. And you just want to very lightly suggest things on the left side. You don't want to get too crazy because you want the shadows to stay there. Get a little bit of white in there. That's good. There. I'll go over here. Just that. There we go. Yeah, it looks pretty decent. Come over here, get a little bit of yellow ochre. Some of that, go over here, so little dabs. There. Little dabs, just like that. There. Don't destroy the darks. Do not destroy the darks. And then once you're over here, you tap that in, and you get a little bit of say you get a little brave and put something more in the front there, and maybe, I don't know, go back. There we go. Let's see. There. Now let's pull it down a little bit. Just clean this off first. But let's get that reflection in. And here I'm going to pull this way. There we go. Pull this way. Put my pal down for a second. My shoulder's bothering me again. Get some of that paint off my hands too. Gave me a nice chance to do that. And clean up the brush, of course. Clean this one off too. Now let's see, we can take a clean dry brush, just lightly caress the canvas where those reflections are. There. In fact, let's take Prussian blue and the alizarin Van Dyke brown. And we can go down here and get something. There. There we go. If you ever forget to insert water, it is not that big a deal, because look how easy it is to just insert water automatically. You mix up the same color that you did in the sky. In this case, I got Prussian blue, and I got alizarin crimson and Van Dyke brown, and I just go over the sides and I pull it, and it's like it's as if it was always there. Now over here I'll do it too, even though I don't have to, because I'm going to have that island that's going to cover everything later. That little piece of land, I guess you could say. And there. Look how easy that is. All I do is pull in. It's like it was always there. No big deal at all. Let's clean off the brush now. I really did forget to insert the water there, so that was very interesting, but as you can see, no big deal. Okay. Now what do you say we take a brush and we caress the clouds, because I forgot to do that too. I'm forgetting a lot of things today. My mind must be elsewhere. Not sure where though, because I was really excited to do this painting. Well, anyway. Let's go in anyway. And let's just caress it very gently. Very gently. Do not go into it very, very aggressively. You want it to be very gentle. You want to use a light touch. A very, very light touch as you do this. And that way, you will not ruin everything that you did. But the painting will look smoother, more united. Oh, all those good things. I definitely want to just give that a little rinse for a second. Beat it off. There. Let's go in again. There. Clean that bugger off. That's good. Oh man, you can see how soupy that paint is right there. I gotta get me a firmer paint, I think. That is... oh, that's for the birds, I tell you what. Let's take, some more dark color. This time though, for my dark color, I want phthalo blue. And then I want that Van Dyke brown. And now for that alizarin crimson. I use the phthalo blue when I want a color that's a little more vibrant, a color that has a little more punch to it. But you really got to be careful with that phthalo blue, because phthalo blue, it is one of the strongest colors there is, my friend. You do not want to play around with phthalo blue. Well, you do want to play around with it, but you got to be careful with it, is what I'm getting at. And now let's go over, I don't know. Let's just get a little crazy. There. We're gonna pretty much cover up this side of the painting here. There. There we go. Get a little bit more phthalo blue, a little bit more alizarin crimson, a little bit more Van Dyke brown. Go down in here. Yeah. Don't want to cover up all of that background that we did. Don't want it to all be for naught. So, sparingly, tap in darks around it and over it. But don't get too crazy. I know we get very crazy when we paint these, but now is not the time to get real crazy. Well, I take that back. We are going to get real crazy. We're going to make a big old landmass over here. And it's going to be a fun one, I think. It's going to be so good. I'm terribly, terribly excited. Can you tell? Yeah. I'm not being too careful here. I am just having fun with it. Putting darks wherever I think there might be a little tree to suggest things. And of course, if I always need more darks, I can always blend a little more with the phthalo blue, the Van Dyke brown, and the inducing crimson. I think it would be very appropriate to call that our magic mixture. Our magic mixture. Sometimes I get a little tongue-tied. But look just how easily we're able to block in a dark color. And I think I want this to extend all the way down here. There. But I think there. I think that is about the shape that I want. And once you have about the shape you want to leave it there. And now let's clean off the brush. Okay, we got that. Now let's decide what color we want all of this to be. I feel like I want to take that big old knife and let's get, let's get some burnt umber. Whoop. A little gob of it got down there. I gotta love when that happens. You get a little bit of Van Dyke brown in there. Don't want to get too crazy. I want to make that brown that we're getting here a little grayer. There. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Nice and gray, depressing. It's that kind of pain in the day. Boy, oh boy. Let's cut across, get a little roll of paint on the knife there, and we'll go this way. Because I think there's a nice tree waiting to be found in all this. Yeah. Yeah. There's a tree there. He's got a little friend over here. Yeah. Another friend right there behind him. No big deal. There. That's fun. Cool. Let's extend it all the way over here. What the heck, right? Yeah, what the heck. And I think I want to get a little bit more Van Dyke brown on this. Gonna get some of that and there. Make sure I got my trees all. Well, that didn't turn out so well. Let's cut again. There. Got that roll of paint right there. That's delicious. And it's just easier for me to do the tree trunks if I hold my knife a certain way like this. If I try too hard to show it to you, sometimes it doesn't always work out my way. But I know that's not necessarily the goal. The goal is just to have fun here and not think too hard about what we're doing. Just to paint a picture and enjoy ourselves doing it. And I think that's pretty good. Most of what I'm doing here is going to be hidden behind a bunch of foliage anyway, so it's really no big deal if things aren't completely perfect. Things are really rarely completely perfect when I'm around. You know that? I always tell you things don't have to be perfect because I'm really not a perfect painter. I'm okay with that. I know that the things I do are kind of messy. I think it's just my coordination, or lack thereof, we'll say. But, you know, you work with what you got, and you make it do what you need it to. And let the pretty painters do their own thing. Oh, I think what I want to do here is get out my big brush, of course. Or actually, let's put the big brush down. Let's get out the little brush again, the 1-inch brush, or as I affectionately call it, the foliage brush. And now we're going to get the most green that we've had today in this. We're going to pull out, ooh, a nice hunk of that. Woo. Woo, 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 woo. We gotta take that down a notch, because that's too much for this painting. Yeah, there we go. And then maybe a little bit of yellow ochre. Oh man, we're getting real crazy now. If you need to, go ahead and put your brush up to what you see there, and decide if it's enough. If you need to, you can always get a little bit of cadmium yellow to go in there, and maybe that will do the trick. Now, if you do, you might want to be sure to dull that down a little bit, because again, we don't want this to be a really bright picture. We want this to be, well, kind of a dull experience. And hopefully with enough of this in there, that's what we'll get. But we'll see. I think I've got something very much what we're looking for. I know I've got all kinds of mud going on my brush here. But that's okay. We're gonna just give it a little tap. There it is. And that's all we're going to give it. We don't want to ruin the stuff that we've been doing. But we do want to suggest things. There. I think this could use a little bit more cadmium yellow. Ooh. I don't know how this is going to work on this one, but we're going to find out. Put it right there, there. Usually when you put on cadmium yellow like this, things start to really shine. But in a dull picture, cadmium yellow turns out to be one of those things that's usually a big no-no. But I'm going to run with it. And I'm going to see how it plays out, because I'm really enthusiastic about it right now. Okay. There. And let's just go in here. There. Take a little bit more. There. Okay. Then we'll go down there. Goes. And we'll got that there. Follow the lay of the land when you're painting all this. And try not to go over it too much once you've done it. fact, I think this goes better. Personally, I think this goes better when you have a bigger brush. Like so. Because look at all the fun, wonderful things that happens once you start using that big brush. So much area gets covered all at once. And then we can go down here and finish the rest. Now let's pull it down. That doesn't look too bad. There. I'd say that looks pretty decent. There. And swipe it. There. Let's go around, just insert a few more things here and there. There. Insert maybe a little bush. There. And wherever I think there's going to be some darks that I want to reinsert, that's totally fine too. Go get some phthalo blue, Van Dyke brown, alizarin crimson, maybe even some sap green if you really want. Yeah, what the heck. Get a little bit of that too. And go in and we'll get it right. We'll say get it right there, and here, there. And just give it a little love tap. Make sure the bristles bend up when you do it. There. Just like this. Like that. There. Just like that. There. And down here. Ooh. There. I'm going to fill a little gap right here where I think there should be a little something. And there. Now, let's take out the palette knife. And, ooh, I think we'll put the finishing touches on these trees here with a little bit of Van Dyke brown. Pull that out, cut across. Actually, do that again. There. Really missing my cues on cutting across today. Well, it happens. We have off days. Not every painting can be perfect. Boy, sometimes I swear I have a lot of off days. Yeah, just gotta get back up, keep trying. I think I want to go underneath on this one, because usually when trees are angled this way, the light tends to hit them at the top of this angle. That's what usually happens. Let's go over here. There. Sometimes, though, it depends where the sun is, because if the sun is down here and shining this way, then the bottom is going to get lit up. But I'm thinking this is sort of midday, mid-afternoon maybe. Sun isn't setting quite yet, so the light is probably going to be coming from overhead here. And let's just try to get that suggested in there. Make over to the side here and suggest a little bit of ooh, that's too much. Now, over to the side here, in this little space, I want to imagine that there's a boat with a fisherman in it. And this is going to be, well, it's going to be a little challenging, but I think that if we get it right, we're going to have a lot of fun with this one. So, let's just imagine, ooh, there's a fisherman in his boat right here. He's pretty close to shore. Pretty close to shore. And, well, just cut that in right there. And now on my palette, I'm going to get a little bit of Van Dyke brown and Prussian blue. I'm going to mix that together. And about, well, I want it to be a pretty black color, honestly. I want it to be pretty gray. Okay. That looks pretty decent. So we'll just set that down right here. Lay that in on the boat. Pretend this boat is made of steel, and that's the kind of color we're going for. A kind of a gunmetal sort of color. There. And let's say that this is, let's pretend that the front of the boat is right there. There. Say that it's right there. Now let's add a little bit of white so we can get that gunmetal gray. And let's just edges. Yeah, pretend that's the boat right there. And we'll, what the heck, let's get it a little bit right here. And we can just sort of create some gradation from the bottom of the boat to the top. There. Pretend that there's a little slat here for his, there's a little seat here for his boat, for the fisherman. There's his motor. Let's get out the smaller palette knife for this. Let's see if we can get this old man fishing. This old man fisherman. Let's put him in right there. Let's pretend that this is his arm right there. Yeah, right there he is. Okay. Let's pretend that this is his head right there. Come on. Okay, there he is. That's not looking too bad. Let's take some of that Prussian blue. Add a little bit of white. And this is going to be, I think, his jacket. Cut across on that. And we'll just put it right there. There is the old man's jacket. There. And for the skin, let's get a little bit of Lucerne Crimson, yellow ochre, with some brown, you want much more yellow ochre to the alizarin crimson on this. There. Add some white. Add a lot of white. And that right there on his head and his hands will suggest that he has a little bit of skin. Now, let's take maybe a little bit of red here. Add it to a little bit of burnt umber. Don't want it to be too bright. Do want to gray it down a little bit. Just a little bit though. Because this old man is kind of going to be somewhat of a focus of the picture, even though he's very indistinct. And for his hat, because, you know, old men like to wear fishing hats. Even out in the rain like this. Just like that. It's a funny looking little fisher hat. And for his fishing rod, well, we don't have to think about that too hard. Just get out a little bit of Van Dyke brown, cut across that, and then draw with your palette knife palette knife, suggest the pole. Yeah, you know, fishing poles are pretty long. They can go all the way up to here if you want. To really suggest that fishing pole, though, you probably want to put a little disc down here just to indicate that it is not a spear. And if you want to go even further, you can take a line down there. Boom! He's fishing. Now, what I want to do is take a little bit of this, pull down, indicate some reflection, and just swipe it aside. Hold out here. Swipe it. There. And that will create automatic reflections. Actually, what I think I want to do is wash that off. Give it a good beat. And swipe the rest. Okay. Let's take some white now. And after cutting across on that, we can really cut into this. There. And it really looks like the water is moving when you do that. And don't be afraid to give the canvas a little scrape here and there. Totally fine. It's not going to hurt the canvas, trust me. It's alright. And for the last bit of this, I want to take a little bit of Van Dyke Brown, and I'm just going to go along the edges here of the land masses that I made. And I'm going to just suggest that there's some dirt here, stuff like that, just to separate it. There. Suggest some land masses over here. Suggest that dirt, stones, all that good stuff. Really helps separate things from the background and the foreground. We'll go over here. We'll go over here and there. Really go over things over here too. There. That's better. Really helps separate things. There. That's good. And you can take a little bit of that white paint, go over it, let it marble. So it suggests all the stones and rocks and things like that. A little bit more. Go over it over here. There. Very nice, very nice. Over here a little bit. That's good. And we can take some of our mixes from earlier, like, a little bit of this, and just tap that in along the edges over here so that everything blends in nicely. Boop, 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 boop. There, that's good. Over here too. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. That's good. That's nice. There we go. And then you can take a little bit more of the green that we made earlier. And, well, cover up some of this silliness that we did down here. That way everything looks like it belongs a little more than it did. So now we've got suggestions of a little dirt at the bottom where the water meets the land. Let's get some of this. We want a shoreline, a little water line near where the water meets the land. And you do that by cutting across. Well, it's a little too much paint. Sometimes you gotta be careful how much paint you get on things. And then there. Be sure you stay straight as you're doing this, and feel free to just, cut into it. There. Makes things look a little better than it did. Try to get a little bit of white paint on there. There. Good. And get it over here too. Background, yeah. Look how nice that looks after you get it in. Let's try to go around the fishing pole. There, that doesn't look too bad. Good. And I think we about got finished painting here. This is a real fun one. It was very dark, pretty easy to do. See, get my name signed in red there. Just my initials, SK. That looks a little messy. Let's try that one again. There. If we're keeping it real. Let's add a little bit more down here to all this. That way it'll seem a little bit more appropriate, I guess is the right word. There. We'll just there. Well, let's clean this off. And with that little last bit of blending, I think we have ourselves a finished painting. Let me get out of the way so you can see it. There it is. Really hope you enjoyed this one. I had a lot of fun with it, and boy, I hope you had fun with it too. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I really hope that you're having a good time there at home. I will see you in the next one. Until then, with love from me to you, bye-bye now.